welcome to the Cowboys LA Radio. I'm your host, Eric Trujillo. We missed episode 8, which would have been the recap for Dallas Cowboys versus the 49ers. I was ridiculously sick. I lost my voice, and you can kind of tell a little bit today. I'm not trying to be Barry White. It's just my voice is still a little bit sore. It's coming back a little bit, little by little. But let's recap that game real quickly. I predicted that we'd win 24-10. I was close. It was 24-17. I should have known our defense would give up another touchdown because that's just the way that we are. We'll never make anything easy. We won the way that I thought we would with big games from Terrence Williams or Bryce Butler. They both gave us a big game. We rushed for pretty much almost 200 yards total, giving us control of the ball throughout the whole game, which is what I thought was going to be the recipe. I predicted it would be 35 minutes to 24 minutes of possession. It ended up being 36 minutes to 23. So it was pretty close, and it was a recipe that, just looking at the tape, I thought that's exactly the way that it would go down. Of course, with everything, I am going to be a little bit critical. I'm going to look for the great things. I'm going to look for the good things. The good thing is we won. Dak played well enough for us to win. Our defense at first looked a little bit suspect, and they bounced back and held tight for the rest of the game. Unfortunately for Navarro Bowman, but fortunately for us, that injury was the point where the game turned, and we just ran all over them, and we ran out the clock, and the game was over. One thing I still keep seeing, and I'll mention it until we have to mention it. Everybody's asking for Dak to take over Romo's job, and honestly, I thought, as a fan, people would see, hey, you know what? I see why Romo's better after this game. Because there was a lot of plays where, and this is not just thinking, on the tape, receivers were open, and Dak just held on to the ball, and then he tried to fit it in there last second, and he'd be over. And typically, those are just shots that Romo would take, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a young guy. He doesn't want to turn over the ball. He wants to protect it. But it could have been a easier game. This game we should have won more handily than we did, and that's just that's learning. That's the learning process. So everybody that wants him to just start from now on, this is something that we have the luxury of now. We can have Romo come back in. He can make those passes, and we can make these games a little bit easier for us to win. And in hindsight, Dak can see and learn and watch and grow. So I'll say it again. If you want him to just be how he is now and keep playing that way and not really progress, because sometimes you have to sit back and be a student before you can be a master of it, then you maybe you'll get your wish and they'll let him keep playing. But if you want him to just sit and study, then he has the capability to be somebody like Aaron Rodgers. He can, because Aaron had that ability to just sit and learn from a great like Favre, which is what Romo is, a great like Favre, and we can let him grow. We're in a great position. There's no reason to trade it away, guys, just because we think that we have the guy of the future, which I think we do too. But let's go ahead and let Romo finish out his career and let this guy keep learning. And now we know that when Romo is done for good, we have something to keep rolling with. Exciting things, though, on the other end is Mo is playing great, and so is Ezekiel Elliott. He's coming through. This is the reason why the whole offseason I wanted him to get drafted, because we need to control the clock, run the ball, and win the games this way, since you can't fix a defense in 1 year. Well, unless you're the Giants and you spend $60 million to do so, which unfortunately we don't have that cap space. Well, on to the Bengals. Their offense is very difficult to cover. Looking at all the games that they had versus the Jets, the Broncos, and the Dolphins, and the Steelers games, they come out a lot of times in 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, single back. Sometimes they'll go 3 tight ends, 1 receiver, 1 back. 1 receiver, a fullback, a running back, and 2 tight ends. But they like to run the ball. They really like to set the tone and run the ball with Jeremy Hill. Gio Bernard is quick, but Gio's kind of like a Dunbar, where he's in there and you know it's going to be some kind of swing pass or a draw or a screen, or he's going to get out into the center of the field. And he's speed. He gives you speed, but their dangerous back is Jeremy Hill, and they'll bring him and they'll just keep throwing at you all day long if they're successful and they're up on the scoreboard. What I noticed is he is the most successful off tackle. So that worries me a little bit, because our linebackers haven't been able to get off their blocks, and if you can get around that corner, they're going to gouge us for yardage all day long. I think this is going to be definitely the toughest matchup we've had and the most balanced team that we are going to have played since the beginning of the season, because they can rush the ball very well, but they can also throw the ball. Now, the key to their offensive passing is number 18, AJ Green. Andy Dalton will throw him the ball whether he's open or not. After watching all the games that they played in, he could be covered, but if it's one-on-one, he's going to give him that shot. And guess what? 50% of the time, I would say 70% of the time, AJ comes down with it. So this is going to be a dangerous game. Game plan wise, you got to put Mo on him. You got to say, Brandon LaFell is going to beat me, but not AJ Green. That's what we have to do to really stop this team. You have to double team that. Put Byron over the top, put Mo Claiborne on him, and have a linebacker ready to shadow him. Because they're smart with what they do with him. They'll bring him across shallow, he'll pick up the ball, and then he'll pick up an extra 10 yards. He'll catch it at 5 and run for 10. And they're very smart in getting him the rock, and then they'll take shots down the field. And Andy Dalton will hit it. Small window, he has the gun, he'll drop it in there. He did it various times over all the games that I've been watching. So don't let AJ Green beat you. Let anyone else beat you. Force them to beat you with somebody else, which would be Brandon LaFell or Tyler Boyd. He's their third receiver, and they're both pretty good. But make them beat you. Don't let AJ beat you. Because if you do, they'll go at it, and it'll be 10 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown. And that might be the storyline for the game if you don't focus on just shutting him down. Which brings me back to Jeremy Hill. We should be getting DeMarcus Lawrence back. I think we've gotten better as the run game improved against the Niners. They did run a little bit against us, but that's due to Carlos Hyde, an amazing runner. And I think Jeremy Hill is the same kind of back. He's dynamic, he's fast, he's quick, he runs tough. He stays on his feet, doesn't go down after first contact. So with the return of D-Law, you're going to have D-Law, Malik Collins, T-Mac, and Tyron Crawford. And I think that those four guys I'm more comfortable with those four were stopping the run than I have earlier in the season when it wasn't T. Craw out on the outside and it wasn't Malik Collins in the center. Because Malik Collins, watching the tape, has been great, and if he keeps playing the way he does, this is going to be one of the greater drafts we've had in a long time. But if we can get Malik Collins, Zeke, Dak, and eventually Jalen Smith, which side note, for a second we thought his knee had sprung up again because he had a tweet that said, praise, thank God, thank the Lord, and so people thought that was it, and he reiterated that no, it's not fully healed, but he's doing things now that he wasn't able to do in the beginning. So it's coming along, and something tells me that this kid is going to be ready to play football. It may not be this year, but I'm not worried anymore about whether he'll never play again. I know that he will. You can tell the smile on his face, the work ethic he has, and the little things that he drops here and that he will. And that's a side note. Sorry to go off of that, but if Malik Collins keeps playing this way, he's going to be one of the big great steals of the draft, along with Anthony Brown, who's starting for us as well, who's not doing too shabby. But we've got to stop the run. That's the key. Stop the run. Focus on that, and don't let AJ Green beat you. LaFell is a good receiver, so is Tyler Boyd. They do a lot of play action. They even had a play where they brought their two tackles out to the left side. So it was their two tackles, a receiver, and then a bunch on the left side, they had Jeremy Hill in the backfield, and on the right side, they had two more receivers. So they only had their center and two guards snapping the rock on the outline. So little things like that you got to look out for. And they do a lot of motioning from the tight end to a fullback and back and forth. So they try to really kind of get you off focus. So it's going to be a tough game. But we need to focus on Jeremy Hill, stop that run, and double team, double coverage all night long. AJ Green, don't let him beat you downfield. Andy Dalton will take that shot. So if Byron Jones is back there just rovering or kind of baiting him into throwing that rock, because he will. If he sees the one-on-one look, we might get away with the turnover that way, and that's one way that we might win this game, which I'll give you the prediction towards the end. Now, their defense, their pass defense is 10th in the league, and their run defense is 14th in the league, and we are the number one run offense. So we got to try, and we got to go for it. And they have a really good front seven. I think their strength is actually with their D tackles and their linebackers. They have four good linebackers. They have Ray Malaluga. They have Ray, which is his last name. They have Vontae Perfect, and they even have Carlos Dansby, who's like their fourth linebacker. But they're blessed enough to have four good backers, and it really shows because these guys will not miss their tackles, their shed, their blocks, they get the right reads. So running the ball is going to be tough, but when it's blocked right, you can take it to the house. So this is the game where we might see Zeke go 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, and then boom, 20. And then short, and then boom. They won't mess up consistently. But when they do give you that hole or that gap, you can take it to the house on them. Because although they're smart, they're not quick linebackers. They're strong, they're smart, they make the right reads, and they're going to make it tough for you to run on. But once you get through that hole, if you can get through it, Zeke can go. And it's going to be one of those games where you just can't give up on the run. You got to keep wearing them down, and use that play action to open up the pass. Even though they're 10th in pass off of the tape, there's definitely space or time for us to throw. There is time and there is space. Their DNs don't scare me. Carlos Dunlap is probably the one that brings the most, but with our offense, I know that we can negate that. I don't see there being like a crazy push from them. They do blitz. It's a 4-3 defense. It's a 4-3 defense that they're running, and you'll always see it 4-3, 4-3, and very rarely do they bring in their corner to cover the slot. So I think that's something that we could look at. Find Cole, find Witt, and we're gonna have to be very balanced. We can't run the ball too much because we might miss opportunities in the pass game, and we can't just try to go out there and pass because then they can pin their ears back, blitz. And so it's got to be really even. I think time of possession will be even as well this week. I don't think we're going to have the luxury of possessing the ball 36 minutes to 24 minutes. We're going to be closer to a 50-50 split right down the middle because they run the ball. It's going to be a tough game. Things to exploit is that. Exploit the chances when you do have the chance for a home run hitter. You have to take it. This is the most complete defense that we've seen, that we're going to see after the Giants. I think this game is really similar to the Giants game because they're going to commit to stop the run. They don't stop the run as well as the Giants do, so that's going to give us some breathing room to run the rock. But they cover fairly well on the passing game. So we need to find a way to take advantage of that. Find the weakest link, which when I saw on there, Jay Kirkpatrick, when he did play, he's a good quarter, good DB, and then Pac-Man Jones is still playing amazing, still playing good ball. But take your chances where you can, which is off that slot in the middle, because their linebackers, although they're tough to stop that run, they are not the greatest at pass coverage. So that's kind of where I think Linehan has to focus, and it has to be a smart game plan. Play action passes, quick slants, outs, things like that. Get the ball into the hands of Cole Beasley on the outside to Lucky on the outside. Let them get quick 5-6 yards. But really at the end of the day, it's going to end up being how well we can end up running the ball on these guys. Atkins is a great player. He brings pressure up the middle. I think our guys can handle him. And that really depends on injuries, which brings me to Dez is probably not going to play. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he will. If he does, great. I think that'll bring us something that we're going to desperately need so they can put another man out of the box. But Chaz Green and Tyron Smith are looking like maybes. We don't know if they're going to play, and that could be a big issue there. And one of the biggest injuries is Dan Bailey. If he doesn't play, it's going to be Jeff Heath. So I think we miss a couple of field goals in the game, which my final prediction for the game, guys, is going to end up being, I think they beat us 31 to something like 14, 16. We might miss a field goal, might miss an extra point somewhere in there. But either way, enjoy the game. If you're in Whittier, California, Southern California, join the Southern California Dallas Cowboys fan club this Sunday at 12 p.m. at 6511 Greenleaf Avenue in Sage, Whittier, California. Fans, enjoy the game and have a good one. Let's get it. Let's go get them.